Hello everyone! I said that I wasn't gonna do much of Euros content. Well, I was lying because once again, we have over with us a very notable player from the Butcher Shot meta. As some of you might know, it's Alex Borrell who finished 5th at Euros. Hi Alex, congrats on your big victory.
Hello, Ben. Thank you. Oh God, it's been so long since someone said butcher shot. It feels really nice.
Yeah, just
Normally when people say me and butcher shot, it's normally you're a disgrace to the butcher shot meta, and I go thank you to Gore. You're very kind.
oh, that's lovely. Yeah, if anything, no, I wouldn't say a disgrace at all. If anything, the other two Daves are the true disgraces because, well, some background. You haven't really been into Netrunner for the past few months. You were busy with meat space
No,
stuff.
so yeah, so it turns out student loans isn't just an asset; it's a real life problem. And in order to keep me getting student loans, I actually have to do my degree. So I took a couple of months off, I think just before Council of the Crest hit. And then I think I came back just a couple of weeks before Euro's about to hit, and I was like, I guess I should do some practice because I don't want to repeat of the last time I did it, and I literally didn't play anything until the day before. Um, and I did, and then I played a game of Jinteki and looked at this card called Rashida Jahim, and I was like, what the hell is this card? This card is broken. I was like, is this what Netrunner has become? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's no violet level clearance, but yeah, it's.
It's not, but it's pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I
It's
would like to see all the top 16 lists because I want to know what's the average number of Rashida Jahims played. Wouldn't be surprised if it's the solid three.
Yeah, I think I definitely did pack through those in my deck. It
Yeah.
was quite insane.
Okay. Speaking of decks, let's look at the decks that you brought to Euros. Very very unique decks indeed. You were the top placing Kamalo player, so. Uh,
Yeah, it was strange because I went on Slack and someone noted like, oh, there's only one Freedom in top 16, and I tagged him and I went, wait, I'm the only Freedom player in top 16.
Yeah, so I think because I mean that's partially due to Kumalo being so fresh off the boat.
Mm,
People were just, I mean, all the good players rather were just, that's too much of an unknown. Let's stick to what we know
yeah,
in Val.
stick to good old degenerate Vow. I'm sorry, just that came out. Yeah, this was also my first Anarch competitive deck. Um,
Aha.
I've only played one before, which was like the Masochist Vow, like when that was first out. But this was like the first one I took to a competitive scene and actually tried to win with.
Yeah, so
Um,
I remember back when I was in the UK and when Wizard was the big thing, you were still
ugh,
on Shaper, and I think you
yeah,
brought Professor to competitively once. Was that it?
yeah. Well, I had a phase. I went through a couple of months of playing Professor. It was great. I don't regret a moment of it because it was a lot of fun. Especially, I think I remember. I just remember I think playing against Guy with his blue sun, and I rebirthed from Professor into Nasir as he rezzed the curtain wall,
Oh, wow.
and he rezzed the curtain wall because he thought I couldn't get in, but I SMC'd out and a femme fatale so I could just bypass it.
Dang, those
Um,
plays.
I mean, yeah, I mainly because I'm not. I try to be competitive, but I mainly live for like those moments, the big play that you do, that the one that you can talk about later on.
Yeah.
I mean, even with you, Ben, like when I played Spark Agency and I rezzed a test ground so that I could de-res my adverts and then res them again to make you lose credit. You had a hell of a lot of money, but it was worth it just for that.
No, just for my facial reaction, expression
Yeah, I
alone, I.
yeah, because I remember your jaw just like dropping halfway down, and then I think you did actually leave the room.
yeah.
I remember you left the room, everyone just looked around, and then you just came back, and you went, "Who plays Test Ground?"
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But that's absolutely what I really enjoy about your decks. They are just
Yeah.
so unique. I mean, okay, so for some context for you viewers, if you remember the HB deck called Ice Butcher Shop Butcher Shot Ice Cream Shop. Yeah, that's the one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was created by, well, this
That was
guy
but
right
that
here.
was that was a very sporadic sprawling of the cards in a hotel room the morning of the event moment. where my roommate was watching me do it at the time, and I literally just picked up black level clearance, which, as everyone
Yes.
knows, is my favorite card. And I looked at it and I go, I can make a deck out of this.
Mhm.
And like I didn't like, because at first I thought the interaction was you have all three out and then they fire off at once. I was like, wow, I get 15 credits for 3 cards at once. And then I got the ruling from Michael Coop, by the way, best host besides Jono of an event. He did great at Euros.
Yep.
They fire off one at a time, and I was like, oh, that's even better. I didn't even realize how good that is. It's like a pseudo Caprice, but
That's not unique.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like good but bad at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of innovative decks coming from Butcher Shot there. Definitely the more enjoyable half of the Butcher Shot meta, I have to say. No one likes Diaper, no one likes Taylor Swift IDs, so
I mean, you just get them at tournaments. I get them in daily life through other activities we do besides Netrunner. So
I can only imagine. Alright, let's get back to the deck. So, Kamalo, as mentioned, thanks for the shout out in the deck description, by the way.
well, I mean, it was your videos that gave me the inspiration to go for Kamalo, because I was struggling with Haley in practices.
Right.
The shapers were just having a lot of issues with me because I play a very specific shaper, which is very slow, and I knew I had to play something faster. And then I watched you testing out Kamalo, and I did a couple of builds on that. And I have to say, Consume is slowly creeping up to one of my favorite cards.
Yeah,
It's a very strong card.
it is indeed.
I just love less. I just love less influence. I love the challenge.
Yeah, on the other hand, I'm just because at the competitive level, consistency is important. So I see the self-modifying code in your deck, and I like, yeah, that's a relic of my decks as well because that's how. Yep.
Yeah, I can't contain myself. I have to have a little bit of shaper. I might not be shaper, but I still have to take a little bit of it with me.
Indeed, yeah.
And I tried so many variants of Kamalo. I tried it with clone chips and triponos. I tried it with just imps and stuff. I have put imp in since Euros, and it's worked 1,000 times better.
Yes,
So
imp is a very key part of the combo, actually. Yeah.
yeah, imp with Nogcrete, because also because I was running 3 copies of Breakers, which I thought was the norm, and apparently to a lot of people that was kind of overkill. But I'm like, I have to have my shaper consistency. I want to make sure my Breaker's out.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw that you were running 3 of each breaker, I thought, wow, that is a feature, not a bug. It's
Yeah.
important in high level play to have that consistency, and I think that's a definite improvement you made over my deck list because, a lot of cards that I didn't make as 3-offs, you did, and I like cards like Stim Hack, for example, and I think that's really
I-
important at high level play.
Yeah, Stim Hack is something that we've discussed in Butcher Shot. We find it's like one of the most fair cards that you can have in the game, and it's still really powerful. Especially against what I predicted were a lot of tempo decks or a lot of decks that try and value out for trying to score, and Stim Hack just gives you that power to go, just take them by surprise. Also, Yusuf is incredible in Freedom.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You have 2 copies of Paperclip and 1 of
Yes.
Yusuf. So what's your thinking behind the relative power level between the 2, and when do you play which?
So normally I try and stick to Yusuf as possible because a lot of people are running sort of like these really quick barrier breakers like vanilla wraparound, and it's generally just more flexibility. If I've got paperclip, I'll use paperclip if possible. But with freedom, your virus counters are like your second currency.
Yep.
And Yusuf not only generates that for you every run, which Data Sucker can't, but it can also benefit you through even bigger ice. So I think even one time I broke an endless EULA with just Yusuf. With a virus breeding ground, and it was just
It feels so good, yeah.
Yeah, because that is the weakness of this deck. Is it is quite a bit money tight because you don't have the bad pub with Val, you don't have the mining accidents, so you are having to be a bit more considerate of your runs, but at the same time, you're getting the advantage of virus counters. So you're getting your money back from consume, which just rewards you for being aggressive. And I knew I had to be aggressive in the Euros because I knew there was going to be a lot of fast decks out there.
For sure, yeah. And glad that all your tech paid off. Do you recall?
Yeah, although
Yeah.
I just remember there was just so many times I had to retrieve a run an SMC, and I didn't feel proud about myself. I felt a little proud, but I really didn't feel proud.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. Like when I was testing this single consume Anarch deck, sometimes when you inject the SMC, you have to go retrieval run for SMC into consume. That's just how it works.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world because like normally I would just retrieval run and then stim hack, and then I get a kind of a bit of value back. But it is Freedom's a strong deck. I mean, half the games I didn't even use Nob Curie because the tempo of everything was going so fast. Sometimes it's better just not to bother with that bit of the combo for a bit. Just focus on just those important runs.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing about Anarchs. Anarchs teach you that you don't need your full kit out. And it was mostly actually what David Sayer, also known as Rotage, he sort of mentored me because we were on the car ride up, and I was like, "How do you play Anarch?" Because I still don't get it. It's like, okay, so your job is to just face plant into stuff, and you don't care. And I go, okay, I got it. So I think once you get past that little barrier, that little fear you have of running into things and everything going wrong, then you're fine. And just learning that your economy is a bit shaky.
Yeah, nah, Dave Rotage never gets anything. He doesn't know how to play with only 4 clicks a turn.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting someone to teach me to run who made a deck where they only run at the end of a game, not all the way through.
Yeah, that's a bit tough right now. Yeah, all in all, a pretty good deck. Do you remember your win-loss ratio throughout Euros?
Yeah, so Swiss, I believe Kamalo lost me 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it lost against an NEH who was because he hard-hitting newsed me and I cleared it, and he had like no money left and I had no money left. And then I think I did a couple of runs, got some consume catbacks, and I thought I was safe. And then he just got enough money again to be able to hard-hitting news me again, and then boom me before I could get the last point. So that was the fortunate one. And then the second one was against a Titan player who won by turn 5. Got like I ran his HQ, hit an Audacity, Freedom trashed it, and then I ran R&D, and then I look at the top card and it's another Audacity, and I'm just like, why didn't I pack the imp? I should have gone to 47 cards, not 46.
Yeah, that's. I mean, no matter what runner you're playing, that's just luck of the draw. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. And then it was actually weird because you'll find out later, but in cut, even though Freedom let me down the Swiss, Freedom was actually what carried me through the cut, and it was the opposite way around. So it was quite a weird change of pace.
Yeah, so that's due to your Corp deck, your Asmaria deck.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to that. So 6 agenda Asmari, pretty good, I must say. Yeah, so what led you to your choice of Asmari? No damage here. Doesn't look like Butcher Shot Ice Cream at all.
Yeah, no, it was really hard trying to play a deck where I actually have to score. I was definitely out of my comfort zone. I think I saw a deck online. I believe it's called Master of None. I cannot remember the name of the person right now. Let me see if I can find him. His name was Darth IA. And he made a deck that had Sandman and Marcus Batty. And first of all, bravo, because that's just purely evil and I love it. But when I was thinking of competitive, I knew it was going to be a lot harder, so I tried to go a bit more of a taxing route. So I put in Ash because, I mean, Ash is just an amazing card.
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn Campaign because, again, this is a very economy-tight deck. There's a lot of money issues, so Marilyn just helps keep that consistent.
Yep.
And then I have my cheeky Seesaw self-growth program and closed accounts combo.
About that, how often did it fire and how good was it really?
It was actually surprisingly effective. A lot of people, people who've asked me about why do you run this combo? A lot of it is that people just assume that's my win condition. It's not. It's just another hurdle I make the runner go through so that I can score. So if they're really low, if they've just done a massive run, then I'll use the chance to attack back. So I think Rotom, who won Euros in the Swiss, I played against his 419 deck, and I think he hit a News Hound. And so he was like, "Do you want to boost the trace? Because I can't break it." And I was like, "Sure, I'll boost up to 8." I had no idea why I was doing it. And he got all the way through, and I think he took a degree mill or something, and so he shuffled to, I think it was like a power tap and a Citadel Sanctuary. And so the turn after, I then go Sea Source because he's got no money, and then I self-growth programmed his Security Nexus and Armakua, and then I trashed his other power tap. So
wow.
And he had like no credits left. He had no resources on the board. So with that, I just then started scoring out whilst he had to restart his engine again.
Feels bad. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean that was like sort of like the good combo. I think actually there was a person in the cut who I played in Swiss. I think his name was Luis,
Yes.
and he was playing the God of War max deck, and it was so hard not to grin because I was just like, oh, take all these tags. There's one less I have to deal with. I think I sent back his God of Wars like 4 or 5 times. It was like I'd self-growth program, send them back, and then I'd have to preemptive them and shuffle them back in again. I still lost, but it was completely worth it.
That is nasty. I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, very very interesting list. And
Yeah,
I guess it's really about the surprise factor. I think this is the kind of list that does a lot better in Swiss than in the cut where your deck list is a known factor. And I guess Lewis was able to play around the self-growth program a bit.
Well, yeah, because the problem with his deck is it can start up again incredibly fast because of rogue trading. So I could reduce his credits to nothing, send his stuff back, and then he could just get it back with rogue trading, and he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Like that card is crazy good against that max, which is why that archetype's so strong. I think though the real MVP of the Asmaria deck was Duo Wraparound, because it trips up so many Anarch players. So many Anarchs who think that they can get their paper clips back from the heap, and I go, all my wraparounds are behind Duas. You are not getting that paper clip back.
Yeah.
And you should have left it in hand. It's almost like being a Scorp, but you know, it's with the little surprise.
And I was gonna ask why you're not running IP blocks. Seems to work well with your tag punishment, but yeah, without extra barriers in your deck, wrap around, behind Jewel.
Yeah, because it's not like I'm trying to keep the runner tagged. It's just like I do it once, send their stuff back, and then they just have that window where they can't do anything. Besides that, I'm not too bothered about the runner being tagged. Most of my stuff is just taking the opportunity when they're the most vulnerable to slam down my degree mills or my SSL endorsements. I actually remember there was a game where a guy I think had a Maxwell James and I think it was like a Citadel Sanctuary, and so he ran IHQ, ran my remote, de-resed my wraparound, and he only had one card installed, and he hit my degree mill, and I just felt so good. I was just like, well, you can't steal that.
Degree mill is wonderful.
It's like my little baby, my MBM baby.
Right, so let's watch your MBM baby in action as we hop over to one of your games in the elimination rounds. This one's versus former world champion Chris Dyer. Should be an interesting one.
Yeah, that always ends well.
Sure does. Alright, so as mentioned, this is your top cut game versus Chris Dyer, who is running good cards Anarch. How did you feel about this matchup coming into... Okay, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about your opening hand. Do you remember what was...
Oh god, yeah, it was absolutely awful. So my first hand was a tragedy. It was like 2 Echo Chambers, I think, a Dua, a preemptive action, and so there was no money.
No money, yeah.
I think there was a degree mill, and it was just awful. So I had to mulligan.
Right.
So I think Chris has inherited my hexing ability, because if you play against me, I like to hex people's decks. So I like to cut a bit off and I go, here's your tech cards, which I know you probably have in the deck, and then I put it at the bottom. So he seems to have done that very well, because my first hand was awful. My second hand, I think, was like 2 agendas, a Dua, and a news hound. And I think you'll also see Chris laughing at his hand. He got a very, very solid hand.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was like, he told me afterwards he got like 3 sure gambles and a daily cast, and I'm just like, I'm a tempo deck.
No, yeah.
What am I supposed to do against that? That's just awful. That's like my nightmare. I mean, if I had to say him to hospitality, I would be just golden.
Oh yeah.
But that would be one ballsy play.
It sure would. But oh man, yeah. So it's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, you have a situation where the best you can do is, induce some runs. I mean, it's not even a very good run. It's on a wraparound, which Chris harmlessly bounces off.
Yeah, exactly. The best that I could do was just to stall until I could find a window until he was a bit vulnerable. But he plays employee strike, and that just like kills half my economy.
Exactly. Yeah,
because,
you don't
like
have...
and I couldn't draw a current to save my life. I was just like digging for a current, like something like a scarcity or a death and taxes, just something so that I could swing it into my favor. But the draws were just going so wrong.
Well, that's money.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not ideal getting SSL stolen.
No, it's not. But yeah, I drew a lot of agendas very early. And then, but I thought like, okay, so I've got the SSL. It's not so bad. At least I'm getting some income back. Maybe I can sort of shift it when he's not expecting it.
Yeah, because your deck really doesn't want to click for credits. You have more than enough economy to sustain your... I mean, it's not like your eyes are expensive to rest either. But...
No, exactly. That's like half the advantages. Like the most expensive ice I have is Toll Booth, and I maybe res 1 a game.
Yes.
Yeah. If I res 2, then I'm in serious trouble. Like something's gone horribly wrong.
Yep. So yeah, emboldened by the SSL money, you're able to come up with a 2 ice remote. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but your plan at this point is to try to drag Chris through the wraparound and whatever that is as much as possible.
Yeah, so basically I was trying to, because he's seen my list, I think it was a news hound, but I was trying to make it look like a duo, so that he would have to not only dig for the paperclip, but then he'd have to install it. So I was hoping all that digging would make him waste time, but I think he just tried to pressure me on centrals because of how low money I was.
And it looks like it's paying off. Off the bat, up to 6 agenda points. At this point, when I first watched this, your video, I was like, oh gosh, there's no way you're winning this. No way.
Yeah, I mean, I've had games where I've been at 6 points really early, and I've still managed to come through. But this did not have this was like a really tragic start.
It sure was, yeah.
And also like the Archangel working against me by letting him have his daily cast back. That's like, I thought we were friends, Archangel. I gave you a great home. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, good call. So those of you who missed the play, Chris Dyer had like a 6 credit daily cast ticking or something. So when Alex res the Archangel on R&D, he was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep running through it, bounce my daily cast so I can replay it. That was pretty good. So yeah, you're getting a consolation prize here in the 18 SSL credits, but at this point you cannot afford to leak any more R&D accesses.
No.
Now, one great thing about Archangel is that it protects you from a degree mill win. Bouncing a card can be huge as it leaves them with fewer than 2 cards to steal a degree mill. So at least you have that going for you.
Yeah, a lot. That was what I was hoping on, because obviously it's a 6 agenda deck, so there's only 1 SSL left in either HQ or R&D. So the only thing he can get through is the degree mill. So he either has to install a lot, which means wasting clicks, or he just has to find some out. But obviously it's Val, so that's his only saving grace. So it's either get a lot of money so he can beat the trace, or just install a lot.
Yep.
Shame he's not Haley. Just plugging her in there.
Nice. Yeah, so as you said, he has barely anything installed on his board. It's like turn, I believe, 6 or 7 by this point. So yeah,
Yeah.
good window for you to jam double advance in the remote
Yeah.
there. Almost certainly a degree mill that Chris has no shot at getting.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what makes the Asmaria deck so strong. It's preying on the moments when runners are weak. So if they're just spending a lot of time on events and not installing a lot, or they can't install a lot, that's your window to to score those degree mills. Because I was actually surprised there wasn't a lot of film critics, which is what I was mostly worried about. And I think I only played against maybe one or two, which were the 419s, but a lot of people were just playing Employee Strike.
Yeah, Strike just covers so many bases, especially against Titan, which was the deck to fear, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think that worked a lot in my favor. Was the sort of reign of Titan coming back again. It allowed a lot more of these sneaky decks I might want to sort of slip under.
Yeah, and that's often what the off-meta players prey on. The fact that people are attacking against a certain other deck. Now, Chris is making a run on RRD after installing an MK Ultra, ostensibly expecting a jeweler, but hey, it's a Tobu.
Yes, I knew that Archangel wasn't going to be enough to keep me protected, but I needed him to sort of if he was going to run R&D, because I knew he had indexing in his deck. He has to pay maximum tax as possible on that run every time. So the toll booth just seemed like the perfect fix. I knew he can get into my remote no matter what I put in there.
Yeah.
I knew he hadn't had the paperclip, and if he did, he wouldn't have the time. Hopefully he was thinking that I put a code gate breaker, code gate on that remote, so I had the sort of the set done. So toll booth just had to go on R&D. I know my hand was pretty bad throughout a lot of this, so
yeah. So I was wondering if you weren't gonna take the risk, let him through the Archangel, and risk the single card access off the top.
There was two reasons I didn't do that. One was because I just wanted him to spend money. The second was just on the when he The second was because I put an Ash on R&D, and I didn't want him to take it away so early. I wanted him to sort of have to work through both of those ice at once.
I see.
So then I triple advance eventually, and I get the degree mill. My first 3 points.
Woohoo!
That was I was like, oh, I might have some breathing space now, but of course against Val, you never have breathing space.
No, the best part now is that those papers with event written on them now come into play.
Yes, thank you, Jerry, for giving me those specifically for stream. I was just like, you just put them next to me. I was like, what are these? Oh, okay, I guess I'll take them.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
like, I probably won't need them in 2 turns when he just plays his second employee strike.
Nice, yeah, but that's really wonderful reference. I mean, you are almost always naming event anyway, so.
Yeah, when I was playing it a lot, because I didn't have a lot of practice with Mari. I played a lot against it, and a lot of people name event. So that's generally the rule of thumb I would go for if you're playing Asmaria, unless you absolutely know that they've sort of burned through most of those and they're still working on resources. If I've got something that I've advanced down though, I sometimes went for program. So it's either it makes you think it's an agenda and you're going to try and grab it, because why would I say program, or it's an NGO front and I'm trying to bait you into that run early.
Nice.
And so I'm still saying program.
Yeah.
So there is sort of a mind game that you can play outside of what's on your board just by Asmaria's ability, which was quite fun.
Yeah, and that's what people love about us. Netrunner, the mind games, the bluffs. Alright, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah, Chris is farming up on quad counters right now, which is not what you want to see as an ice heavy deck.
Oh, that bloody turtle. I can't stand. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I wish I could just put Cyberdex Virus Sweeps or even Reverse Infection. I'll mill myself if I have to. I want that turtle out.
Yeah. Although your deck is in a fairly good position to purge against Armor Core.
Yeah.
You can afford to dawdle a bit.
Yeah, I feel like I was alright at this stage though, because it was only on strength 2, so there's
Yes.
not actually a lot of my deck that I can interact with. Most of my stuff's either 4 strength, 5 sixes, unless you've got your fractor out, and then my wraparounds are zeros. So Armor Core is annoying, but it's not bad against my deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually quite easy to lock out against unless they make a current go away.
Yep.
But that was the other advantage, was that because everyone's playing Employee Strike, my news hounds were online and I didn't even have to try.
Indeed, yeah.
I love News Hound. It's such a beautiful card.
Yeah, and it's a nice consolation prize when your ID gets turned off.
Yeah.
So, do you remember how flooded you were at this point in terms of agendas in HQ, and what did you put in the remote? Do you happen to remember?
I think I drew like 4 or 5 out of 6 of my agendas at this point. It was quite
Ugly, yeah.
yeah, it was very ugly. I can't remember if I put one in the remote. It might have been, I think I was putting an NGO front or a Rashida as sort of like a bluff. Sort of like, I'm just trying to hide this in here because I know you can't reach it.
Yeah, because it seems like at this point Chris is farming Armor Core counters. Newshound HQ seems like the best place to farm it. And that's
Yeah.
not looking good for you if there are agendas in there.
I mean, yeah, because Chris knows better than anyone. Like, as soon as the corpse starts just doing nothing, it either means that they haven't drawn what they need, or they've got something in hand but they can't do anything with it, and they don't want to create attention. So Chris knows exactly when to pressure you at the right times, which is why, he might have been a world champion at one point.
Mm-hmm. I heard that that happened indeed. So
Yeah, that was one hell of a game though.
yeah. So you threaten the win on the remote, but he runs archives instead, presumably to farm a turtle counter.
Yeah, so I was at 3 points, so I was trying to go for another 3-pointer. I didn't actually expect the run on Archives. I figured he was just going to stick with HQ because there's no disadvantage of going HQ. He's got the 4 counters. But unfortunately, I did hide a degree mill in there. So
Oh yeah, it's almost as if he's mind reading you. I don't see where. I mean, given his board state, I would have expected him to run HQ. To
yeah,
farm. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought. The only thing that I could think of was like he might have known that that was a degree mill. I think he might have just done it just to check the ice. So it would mean that if he wanted to just farm counters efficiently without spending money, then he wouldn't have to do HQ. Just so that he could just get past that wraparound. But
Yeah.
I mean,
because
like I had the thing was I had the preemptive in hand and I could have done it the turn before, but because I knew he had indexing, I didn't really want to risk it.
yeah. In fact, I
Because
think
that's what I knew he was building up for. He was either building up to get into my remote, or he was building up to get into R&D just with the Armakua.
yeah. I mean, I'm with you. At this point, I did not expect the game to end so anticlimactically. If I were you, I would say, wow, ditching the extra degree mill in archives was a very smart idea, given the HQ pressure, given that most Fel decks would typically only run archives on a rebirth or more. So I would not expect the archives run at all. So I think you still played that very well, given the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing against Chris Dyer, you know that you are gonna struggle. You know that things are gonna be a bit different. You have to sort of be like on your top game. And if anyone was gonna knock me out of the cut, then I'm glad it was him, because I mean we have the best games. And also the funniest part of it was we were reading the list, and he just, before you even read it, he just looked up and goes, "If you put 3 black levels in this deck, I swear I'm gonna be mad."
That's all 15 influence, but yeah, you could.
That's true. I could do it.
You could.
I do love my brain damage decks, and the Katara cycles give me a lot of toys to play with.
You sure do. That's really awesome. Anyway, big credit to Chris Dyer here. I think he played that absolutely phenomenally. Pressuring HQ and then inducing you to discard the agenda into archives and then fetching it there. Well,
he's a smart cookie. He knows his stuff.
Yeah,
he knows his Netrunner.
He sure does.
I mean, it was just a blast. So the whole experience. I mean, I wasn't even expecting to come so high in the standings on Swiss. I was actually missing Council of the Crest, and I had to actually buy it at the trade hall about 10 minutes after we started, and then slot into my deck. So I wasn't in top form, but Everyone was great. The judges were great. The venue was amazing. Like everyone was just like, even though we had delays, everyone was just like full of electricity. And it was a great day. And honestly, it was the only thing I'm annoyed at is that Jono has still spelt my name wrong on the stream again.
Oh no, it's double R, isn't it?
It's all I get in Butcher Shot. It's just
Oh, Jono. Well, still he did a very good job with maintaining the stream, so we won't begrudge him too much.
no. I love Jono, and he hates every deck that I bring to play against him. So win-win.
Yeah, sure is. Well, before we close off, want to share your favorite memory of the entire Euros experience and any shoutouts you'd like to make?
I'm just trying to think. I think because Swiss was such a draining day, and there was such a relief when it was finally over. Like everyone was just like, it was just like a breath of fresh air. But I think we had some great days. I had some great self-growth program bounces I was great about. I like having to double retrieval run, one for an SMC and one for a consume in one turn felt great. But yeah, I'd like to give a shout obviously to both the Daves that I play with, David Say and Dave Everington. They are like the greatest people to be with. It's why I love being in this meta. Also to Rufus for his support with me because we were in the same hotel. And he was in the cut as well.
Yeah,
so
that's a very successful hotel room. You have to give me the room number.
Yeah, well, it was just like we were down for breakfast, and I was feeling absolutely awful. And so he helped me out. But him, Chris Dyer as well. Great guy. I love playing against him. I love making him sweat by doing literally nothing and just by showing up. Same with Dave Hoyland. But just everyone that went to Euros deserves props because it's like this community's why I've become so open and why like I get up and just to enjoy sharing these moments with people.
Yep. Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Wish I could have made it to Euros to say hi to everyone, but hey.
Yeah.
Well,
we were definitely missing you, Ben. I missed a lot of our great plays that we've had together.
Yeah, I miss
like the replanting Tenon Institute that I did on your online championship, which was fun.
Stop it.
How many advancements were on Colossus? Was it 12 or 13? I don't remember.
Gosh.
That was a great 6 ice deck. I didn't even need Ginger City Grid. I said it.
Well, all those memories are coming back. Well, it's lovely having you on, Alex. Thanks very much for your time.
No problem. I'm happy to be a part of your channel. I love your jank. I love what you build. I love what people influence on you.
Indeed,
and maybe I'll influence some decks on you in the future.
Yeah, and I hope you in turn have influenced some of my viewers as well. Hopefully you all have been inspired by these janky yet competitive, shall we say. It's a very nice intersection to be in, and I think Alex does that absolutely brilliantly. So thanks very much, and happy net running as usual. Goodbye.